Hello, ladies, and welcome back to Celebrate You. Today, we have someone that has done like not really well in my eyes, but in the eyes of the business world. So today, I'm bringing to you Guan Tan. He is the CEO and founder of Ittify, and he was just what's the word, acknowledged. It's not nominated, it's like he was what's the word, what, how do I say that, he was named,
Listed.
listed, that's the word, he was listed as part of Forbes 30 under 30 in Asia. So that's like huge. So Juan, thank you and welcome to the show.
Yay! Hi, Moni. Hi, everyone. Thanks for the introduction. Hi, guys. I'm Guan. You can just call me Guan. It's fine. Yeah, very excited to be on the show today. I've been following quite a bit and very, very honored to be part of it today.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. I didn't know you followed. Oh, that's exciting. Thank you so much. Okie
Yeah.
dokie. Yes, I'm really looking forward to this episode because yeah, like I said, it's quite remarkable to be in Forbes. That's it. But it's like extremely remarkable to be in Forbes under 30. That it's like, wow. Especially because a lot of people have the, oh, I'm too young. And I'm like, no, it's not an excuse.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to be listed on this list this year, and also on the category of marketing and advertising.
Hmm.
So where I come from, Ittify, we are a social media platform that connects both brands with social media influencers to create content. So it is a platform where if a brand has a marketing brief, they'll put on it, and then influencers can apply. Yeah.
Yeah, that is super cool. And there's like so many things that I would love to talk about. But let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and your story?
Okay, sure. So it's quite interesting because I came from a finance background. So in uni, I was actually very much into numbers. I really like finance part of it, very into stocks and trading. So but the interesting thing was at the same time I had a lot of passion for photography. So something that I was doing
Mm,
as a hobby. Yeah, and I was very fortunate because I was invited to be part of a crew for a local YouTuber called GD Boy TV. So I started to intern there when all my peers went to banks to
yeah,
intern. I went
yeah.
to a production house to intern. So it was quite funny because that was where it really created a lot of interest for me in social media. I really, really enjoyed creating content, and that's how I came about to be in the media scene.
That's very interesting. Yeah, you're right. Because like a lot of people, I don't know now today, but until like maybe 10 years ago, you finished uni, especially if you studied like finance engineering or something like that. And it was like, oh, I want a consulting or finance job. So jumping straight into media, that was like cool.
Yeah, so it was quite a big step for me actually.
Yeah. And did you grow up in Malaysia?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Yeah,
And you studied
born and
here. You
raised.
did
Yes.
everything here in Malaysia.
Yeah, everything local.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, one of the things that kind of made me ask you to come to the show was you and I, we met like maybe 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago when I had just moved to Malaysia. And then
Yeah.
basically it took us like 3 years to catch up again. We were very bad. Right? and
Yeah.
and then the day that we had our catch up like a few weeks ago, I was like, "Oh, how are things?" And you were like, "Oh, everything's cool. Like my company was acquired." And I was like, "What?" In just like 3 years, you went from having a small agency to being acquired, and all this happened in the middle of the pandemic. I was like, "That's quite impressive." Can you tell us that story?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. We shouldn't take another 3 years to to
No,
meet
I
up
know.
again.
I know.
For sure, no. So what happened was we were very fortunate because, yeah. So what happened? We were very fortunate is because our industry being in very digital, we were helping a lot of brands during the pandemic to go digital. So a lot of those SMEs needed, they were caught off guard because of the pandemic. So they didn't know what to do or how to go digital. They didn't know how to get more visibility. So fortunately, we were able to come in very quickly to
Mm,
pivot to a lot of very brands that can benefit during lockdown per se. So those home delivery, home baking, fitness kind of brands, they really took off, and we really could help them create more presence, more digital presence by using social influencers to really shout out their product, shout out their services.
mm,
So because of that, we really did very well during the pandemic. Our company grew about 2.5 times, and we were spotted by one of the media group that they had interest in what we were doing, and we had the same vision in giving more opportunities to creative people. So that's how we got acquired during this pandemic
mm.
season.
I love that.
Yeah,
And
it's quite interesting because they as a company as well, we share the same vision in making sure that the local markets are being taken care of, right? So SMEs will always be the backbone of the economy,
mhm,
and that we went in with the mission of trying to help SMEs go digital.
yeah,
So that was what kept us going during the pandemic. So even though right now we are in the third lockdown, right? So
yes,
so we're still very focused on our mission in helping SMEs go digital. Yeah.
amazing. And then when you say like you help SMEs go digital and you help them with social, do you help with everything or just
So
influencer marketing?
mainly, yeah, mainly our company focus on influencer marketing, yes. But on a group level, the company that acquired us, they work with publisher sites. So publisher sites that will create articles and write-ups. So they will feature like, these are 10 home bakers you should look out for during this pandemic. Yeah.
Hmm.
Or these are like the 5 home workouts or fitness YouTubers you should follow. Yeah. So these are the
Okay.
kind of content that we have been creating during this
Yeah.
season.
And just for everyone listening, whether they are like tuning in from the UK, Malaysia, or like anywhere in the world, like influencer marketing, can you give us like a summary of what it is and what are the benefits?
Cool. Yeah. So it's very simple because, for example, right, influencer marketing is based on word of mouth, and
Mm,
these days people really believe and trust reviews a lot. So it comes down like, when you want to go to visit a new cafe. So there are tons and tons of new cafes, but which one do you go, right? So you
mm,
usually ask your friends
yes.
or you usually go online, right? So that whole point came from a word of mouth kind of marketing. So social media influencers are key opinion leaders in the particular niche or industry. So they have following on social media platforms, and they usually have a particular niche that they are in. So they can be from a foodie niche, a tech reviewer, or even a fitness guru. Yeah. So these guys are people who has some voice or some authority in the scene.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay. And then I, as a company, as a brand, let's say that I'm trying to sell, I don't know, like clothing or cakes. How do I tap into those influencers such that it feels that it's authentic and it's aligned to my brand versus I'm like, oh, that like girl that it seems like fake is advertising my clothes. I don't like that.
Yeah, so that really requires a little bit of skill actually.
Hmm.
Okay, but the one thing about Malaysia is we are actually a very diverse country.
Yeah.
So we have different races and different cultures. So it works the same with our influencers as well. So even in the Malay industry or the Malay side of it, there is also the English speaking Malay
Yeah.
or the more grassroots Malay speaking Malay. And these guys, they are both have different kind of following, and the way they word things are also very different. So it comes down to how we what are kind of audience that we want to tackle and who we're trying to reach out to. So then we will be able to craft a list of influences that are very relevant to your brand. So if you are going to target fashion, we will still ask you whether your product is more targeted at grassroots Malay, or more urban Malay, or Chinese, or even Chinese. There's also the Chinese speaking kind of Chinese as well, in which their
Mm-hmm.
interests and everything is also very different. So we deep dive with the brand to sort of understand these kind of interests, and then we will match it with the right influences for you.
Awesome. I'll move away from marketing for a second. And
Yeah,
it's like, one of the things I absolutely love about Malaysia is exactly what you said. There's like it's such a diverse country, and you have multiple cultures. Like the predominant ones, it's like the Malay, the Chinese, the Indian, and then you have like others. But for people who do not live in Malaysia and are listening now, how would you describe to them like what does a Malay audience look like versus a Chinese one or an Indian one? What are the key differences between them?
right. So the first thing that we have to know is definitely the food is different,
Yes, it's so
right? All
important.
right. Yeah. The food
Yes.
is definitely different. So Malay side, then we have to take note that whether it's halal certified, right? Whereas
Mm,
for Chinese or Indian, then we are a little bit more lax in that. So that is something that whenever we do for F&B kind of brands, these are some of the important things that we need to know. So first and foremost, whether it's halal, right, or pork free.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the main things. Then the other things could be the audience would be Malay audience are actually a very big part of it, right? They're 70% of our
Hmm.
population. Yeah, and they work very well with very mass market kind of product.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whereas for Chinese kind of audience, right, we notice that it is a little bit more on a higher end or a little bit more
Yes.
expensive.
I
Yeah,
thought you would
they
say that.
yeah. So these are some of the findings that we notice, and we will usually advise the client like your product, what is your price range, who are the people that you're looking at.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so interesting. I've always found that fascinating how they mingle and don't mingle at the same time.
Yeah.
So if I am looking, so I have two questions that come to mind. One, it's like if I am looking to hire an influencer, what are the key things that I need to keep in mind?
Okay, so definitely would be the target audience that you're reaching out to, right? So, if you're a fashion brand, what kind of people that you're trying to attract? Is your clothing a little bit more conservative, or a little bit that's very fitness kind of based? Then definitely we will introduce influencers that are more suited towards them. So a lot of the influencers followers should be your target audience. That is something
Mm,
that we need to be sure, right? So age group, gender, interest level. So these are sort of the things that we will have to set for you so that you can reach maximum value for your influencer campaign.
yeah. And then if I follow up on that, let's say if I go, let's say on Instagram and I see someone, I really can only see their name, their beautiful pictures, and the number of followers. And of course, I browse and I see the content. But in reality, like, I don't know A, who are the followers, what are the demographics of the followers, and B, if they are real followers or if they were like robotic, like
Yep.
robot bot followers. How do you know that?
Okay, so that's a very tech question. That it's great because what separates us from a lot of the players is because we use our tech as a platform to be able to know whether these followers are fake or not. So this is something that
Mm,
is very important because there are people who buy fake followers, right?
yeah.
And the indication of it will definitely be they have very high amount of followers but very little engagement, right? So that is a very clear cut that there is something wrong. And also for us, when we track them on our platform, we will be able to see whether there's a spike in followers or not. Because usually when they buy followers, they pay an amount, and then they suddenly have like 1,000, 10,000 more followers. Then we will
Mm,
see a spike, a sudden spike in 1,000 or 10,000 followers overnight. So then the system will flag us and let us know that there's an issue. Maybe this person is buying followers.
okay.
So that's one of the tools that we use to ensure to our clients that the influencers that we work with are not people who use fake followers.
Yeah, that makes a
Yeah,
lot of sense. And then, like, a person just browsing online wouldn't really know that, right?
yeah,
No,
yes,
that you have to go through an agency.
yeah, yeah. Because these tools, these data tools and analytics are something that we built with the guidelines of Facebook and Instagram. So it is like proper and that is backed up by insights and data.
Oh, so it's inbuilt technology in house.
Yeah, so we use in-house and then we work with their APIs and things like that
Yeah,
to be able to pull. Yeah.
amazing. And then if we go to the other side of the conversation, and let's say if I am an influencer, how do I find then customers that how do I get started on advertising for other people?
Yeah. So this is exactly why I started the company actually, because when I first started out, I was in the YouTube industry, right?
Yeah.
For this like 8 to 9 years ago. I was quite one of a micro content creators. So I had only about 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I realized that it was very difficult for me to be discovered by brands.
Mm.
So I have my audience, not a lot, but for me to be discovered by brands, it's very difficult because who is going to find out about somebody with 10,000 subscribers? So that's why we did a test. What we did was what really pushed me to really start Ittify was we started doing a test with a brand. Um, if we put the same amount of budget, for example, 10,000, we have 20 of these micro tier influencer and another 10,000 for a celebrity. So
Mm.
which one will give us better conversion? So we did this by giving out them sharing certain promo codes, and we
Yeah.
noticed that the results of it is about the same. So
Oh,
we think that it's actually better or safer from a brand perspective to engage with a number of micros versus one celebrity, because one celebrity can sometimes not do a very good job, and then that will affect the whole campaign performance. Whereas for microsite, you have maybe 10 or 20 of them that you can really tweak and work from there. So
yes.
that's what really kicked us to embark on this journey to help micro influencers get discovered by clients. Yeah.
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense because micro influencers, like, you're still growing. It's your baby. So you're putting a lot of effort into it and you are properly attracting people based on the content that you create and building the community rather than I'm a celebrity and I post something
Yes.
on Instagram. So it's different
Yeah.
type of vibe.
And these micros actually reply messages and DMs, right?
Mm,
But celebrities, they don't. So some people, they want to know, okay, I really want to know your honest feedback about this cafe. So, was the service good? Or, what's the price point? Did you wait very long? Right? So sometimes these celebrities just can't be bothered to reply, but micros, they can and they will because they're building their own community, right?
yeah. Yeah. 100%. And like I've seen, well, of course, I started a podcast, so now I'm active in social media. Before I wasn't really, but the more active I am, of course, I am observing what other people do.
Yeah.
So a lot of what I find very interesting, it's like when I tell like new people that I meet or something, and I tell them, oh yeah, I'm doing a podcast, and then they go like, oh, that's so cool. Next question, how are you going to monetize this? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. The plan is just to have fun and talk to interesting people. And then like to, like just have fun. Eventually I'll monetize it. But it seems like there's a lot of people that get into social media becoming an influencer because they want to monetize this.
Yes, this is something that we have faced very commonly. So a lot of people actually call our company number and just to inquire these kind of things. So they're like, okay, I want to be an influencer, I want to get paid. So just tell me how to do it. Yeah. So we actually get calls like this. So definitely I understand. Yeah, but of course, a lot of content creation comes from passion,
Yes.
right? You and your podcast, when we started talking about your podcast, your eyes just light up, and you just have so many ideas, so many topics to talk about and cover,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So these are all passion, and that's really what really pushes a content creator to continue to create content. Yeah, because it's all passion, and
It's
that's
all
great.
passion.
Monetization can come later, lah, and it's not even
Exactly.
something that you are focusing on. Yeah.
So, what I'm hearing is the advice for anyone getting started in the influencer kind of journey is just be led by passion. Money will
Yes,
follow. If you
definitely.
start with, I want money, then maybe look into investments instead. It may be easier.
Yeah, really. Because if you're thinking straight on with just money, right, you will be disappointed very fast, right? Because you are thinking of it as a business and then you expect it to be profitable with X amount of time. And it doesn't work that way, right? Because
Mm-mm.
social media and content is all about creativity, authenticity, and passion.
Creativity, authenticity, and passion. And probably that is the number one advice to any small business, that it's like, oh, what's the secret to my social media strategy? Simple. Creativity, authenticity, passion. Whether you're selling shoes, earrings, cakes, machines, phones, makeup, like programs, training, airplanes, whatever it is,
Whatever it is, yeah.
creativity, authenticity, and passion.
Yeah.
That's the tagline for this podcast.
Nice. We got it.
We got it. Yeah, we got it. That is so good. Awesome. Okay. So enough of marketing. I want to get into your brain. And not brain in terms of knowledge, but more of your mindset. First of all, what made you start an agency?
Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, is really a lot about giving more opportunities to creative people, right? So we really wanted to help a lot of these content creators to get discovered by brands. So getting all these influences together was the easy part, right? But when we have a huge database of it, getting brands to be on board will then become easier for us as well.
Mm,
So that was my mindset going in was we just want to help creative people succeed. So we will tell them we are creating a platform where we will match you with brands. Of course, you can't get every client in the world because if you're a fitness influencer, you're not going to get foodie, you're not going to get beauty kind of brands. But at least I'm telling you that there will be a chance in the future that we will get a fitness client for you.
yeah.
Yeah. So every day, we will still try to grow our database. We'll still try to discover more or new content creators.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then, like, if I dig deeper into your mind, why was this important to you? What was the spark? Because not everybody goes like, "Oh, I want to help businesses." No, there was
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. I think it really came from my background as a content creator because when I was doing YouTube, I was really considering to go build it as a career, right? So
Hmm.
that's why I really understood a lot of these kind of struggles that all these content creators are experiencing. So of course we started off with the tagline of creativity, authenticity, and passion, right? And we've done that. We've grown the channel, but if we're going to consider it as a career full time, so what are the struggles and how do we get there? So that really drives me a lot to help all these small content creators.
Mm. It
That's really
feels like,
something that yeah.
yeah, yeah, it resonates. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can. It's like I can see it in your face. It resonates. Yeah, and then can you
but
go
but
ahead?
coming from a as a business owner, right? I think something that I am quite different compared to my peers. I'm actually very into feng shui.
Awesome. You got my attention now. Tell me
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. So I actually have my family use consults with a feng shui master, right,
Yeah.
for maybe about 20 over years. So this old uncle that comes to our house every year, and then he tells us about, reads our feng shui, and sort of advises. So I am a very big believer in feng shui, because my mindset is, if I'm to go and do a business, I need a bit of luck, and if it's just extra 1% of luck, I would do it, and I will take it.
Yes.
So it's things like, it's really very minor things that you can say is superstitious, but for me, I believe that I will take it lah.
Yeah.
So things like, the color of shirt that I wear for meetings. So he tells me that I am more suitable to wear gray colored shirts for meetings. So if I'm going to a meeting, I will wear a gray color. He tells me that my watch needs to have a metallic strap. So my watch, if
The
I go to a
elements.
meeting, I
Yes.
have a metallic strap watch. Yeah.
Yes.
So even like things like what time we start work, where my office desk face the kind of
Should face.
direction. Yeah, and even to the extent that my colleagues, where should they be sitting? It's also pre advised by my master. Yeah, so it's the kind of extra stuff that I really do to.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I really want to discuss this. So, of course, I'm from Mexico and then I lived 10 years in the UK. So, in the West, like feng shui and like energy and what's called in the West more esoteric things. Exactly. They are esoteric things and people call them like woo woo. And what I've noticed that as I grow up, I'm still growing up, the more I integrate all the energy practices and the practices from the East into my life, not only like my career and my business, let's say business wise, but it's like in my life and like incorporate everything, I feel more supported and empowered. And I find it very sad, weird that in the West they laugh kind of like of all these ancient practices and they see them as woo woo. But in the East, like at least the Chinese culture, at least in Malaysia, that I've been here for a few years, that's a big thing. Numerology, feng shui, like 888, lucky number, like
Yeah.
14, no lucky number.
Yes. Yeah. So it is exactly that. To the extent that my office is number 26, because 2 plus 6 equals to 8, and 8 is
Mm,
money.
yes, yes,
Yeah. And I actually am a really firm believer in this energy thing as well, right? So that's why even when we shift to a new office, or if it's Chinese New Year, for example, we really take it to heart to have our tradition where we roll oranges into the room. We bring pineapple in, because pineapple is it's ong, which is luck,
mm,
prosperity.
yeah,
So we bring the prosperity into the office. Yeah.
awesome.
So it gets everybody hyped up. Even that the non Chinese, even our Malay colleagues are also very excited to bring oranges in, to roll the orange into the office. Yeah, it really creates a very good energy, a very good vibe right at the start of work. Yeah,
Yes, I loved before before lockdowns, like Chinese New Year and the dragon dance in the office and the whole ritual about putting like exactly the oranges everywhere. That is like absolutely amazing. And it's incredible that it's like it happens not in woo woo businesses, but it happens like across the board. E.g., Westerners, listen, learn from the East.
yeah. I really think that it's a good, really good energy, right? Like everybody, we come in with a very warm vibe. Everybody's excited about something, right?
Yeah.
Lion dance, as you said, dragon dance. Yeah, it's all very cool.
Yeah. And then why do you think? Because this is not like you, this is like the Chinese culture in general. And this is not just like the mass market Chinese culture. This is like the very successful millionaires, like it goes all the way up to the chain. And as a culture, like Chinese, they are known for their business acumen and being good with money. And at the same time, it's kind of the practices like numerology, feng shui, and all that. Why do you think that tradition did not get lost and it's still part of today's culture?
I think it's because I would say Chinese or Chinese Malaysians are quite kiasu, right? So it's a local slang. Kiasu would be like don't want to lose, right? So Chinese people, we love money,
Yes.
so we are kiasu. We don't want to lose. So a lot of times that we will pray or do all sorts of things to hopefully get that extra luck or the extra prosperity to help us through. So that's why I believe that it's something that's been around for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and all ages of like or even more senior people
Yes.
are still a very firm believer of it. Yeah, the way they place like some certain things in the office, why there's a crystal ball here, why there's like a fish here. Yeah, it's all for the extra luck, right?
Yeah. It's like, oh, I didn't know about the fish nor the bowl.
Yeah.
But what I've heard, it's like the phone number. The phone number needs to be aligned to
Yeah.
numerology.
Yes. Yeah. So like if you add the digits together, it should end with either 6 or 8 or 9, right? So it like symbolizes either money, success, or prosperity. Yeah.
Amazing. See, that's the beauty of having a multicultural country.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's quite funny because like certain things, even like the plant, right? So I will put certain plants at certain corners of the room. Yeah. And my colleagues will ask the same thing. It's like, why? And then I'll always tell them, where do you think the money is coming from? Where do you think our business is coming from? It's because of the plant. So just believe it and talk to the plant. When you have any issues, then we will have no problem.
You say that in the office.
Yeah, I do. I do. One
Oh,
day, after this pandemic, when it's safe, you can drop by and then I will introduce you to the
yes.
plant.
Awesome. So, what's the name of the plant?
Oh, I
Or it
just,
doesn't have a name?
yeah, I didn't have a name.
You just talk to the plant.
Yeah, I just thought of the
That is so
plant.
interesting because, like, like I have plants at home, and especially the flowers, they get names, but I never talk
Oh,
to the plants.
it's a good start, right?
Yeah, it's a good. I'm like everybody, like plants have names, and I'm like, oh, what's the name? But no, yeah, it's a good start. Talk to the plants.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We deviated into very range of topics.
Yeah, well, it's fun. Yeah, it's a cool topic, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. It's like, and I have to meet your feng shui master.
Yeah.
Like, yes, definitely. So coming back to mindset. Okay, so we just talked about luck and all the, let's say, minds. We talked about two things. One, the mindset of helping businesses more on the serious side, and then the other one on the more energetic level and traditions um, to cultivate success. How about, I'm sure in your experience, like you've had like bad times in the business. What was your
Yeah.
mindset in those times?
Yeah, definitely. Bad times, it's definite, right? Business is sometimes like a roller coaster, right? But I've always believed that, at the end of the day, when you take care of people, then your people will take care of business.
Mm,
Yeah. So there are definitely times where, money collection from brands, right?
yeah,
Or even sometimes the need to go the extra mile, especially during the pandemic. Everybody wants to. We know when we suddenly introduced work from home, right? At first, people couldn't adapt to work from home. They feel like they're working every hour,
yeah,
every day. Yeah.
yeah,
And so I've always tried to assure my team that my philosophy is always, if we take care of the people, then our people will take care of business. And so I've always been very, very attentive to my team.
Mm-hmm.
especially during this kind of times. So because I believe that they will eventually put and show the extra care for the business because they are taken care of.
Mm.
Yeah. So that is one thing that I really believe in. And
Yeah.
then the other thing I would always very thankful or very good moral support from my family.
Mm.
So my parents will always sort of like psycho me in the feng shui side of things. So they're like, dude, don't worry lah. Your master told you that this month and everything will be fine. So this thing shall pass. Then I'll be like,
Yes.
okay, yeah. And then of course, talking to the plant. Yeah. So it's for me, it's really a lot about managing your stress and managing your emotions. And especially, I
Yes.
think that as a leader, it's very important. So I always appear to be somebody that's very calm in the office. So I do not really show a lot of my worries or
Mm.
stress to my team. Yeah.
Do you show them to someone else?
I do. Back home,
Yeah.
very supportive family. So they understand,
Yeah.
and yeah. So especially a lot of things like when it comes to money, right? The early stages, when we're raising an investment round, or when we are not collecting money fast enough. So these are sort of the things that I feel is a little bit more sensitive to discuss with everybody in the company. But a
Mm-hmm.
few trusted team members, then they will definitely be able to share the burden.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. And then you touched like a very important point that it's about managing stress and managing your emotions. At the end of the day, I think it just comes back to that managing stress
Yeah.
and managing your emotion. I don't, by now, I don't believe in the word managing your emotions because emotions just come up, but
Yeah.
it's more managing the relationship with your emotions and knowing how to navigate that in a better way.
Yeah. So,
How?
Monia,
Yeah.
sorry, I know. I remember you mentioned that you do meditation as well, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So the thing is, I was when I was 15, right after we have a major exam in high school, we were off for a 2 3 months break,
Mm.
and during that break, when I was 15, I went to become a novice monk.
Oh,
So
novice monk.
yeah, so
Oh, cool.
I stayed in a temple, shave my head, wear robes, be
Amazing.
vegetarian. Yeah, wake up at 5 to clean the temple, to meditate, and things like that. Yeah,
How
yeah.
long did you
So
do that for?
I think it was about 8 weeks. I think. Yeah, when I was 15. Yeah, so it wasn't. It really changed my life because since then I really believe in meditation a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and waking up early is no longer an issue for me, like because I was like a young boy, right? I usually won't want to
Mm-hmm.
wake up early, right?
Yeah.
But having like a change in lifestyle of waking up at 5, it really helped me to. When you wake up at 5, you actually have a lot of time to do a lot of things, right? Yeah, and but what I don't wake up at 5 now, but
I was
but
going to
the
ask, do you?
meditation, yeah, but the meditation part of it really helped me till today. Yeah,
And what
so
I, yeah, do you I'm like, that's a whole story on its own that I may come back to it. But before we go into it, like, how do you continue to use those practices today to manage stress and cope with your emotions?
yeah. So one of the things that I really enjoy meditation, right, is because the kind of meditation that we do is using the breathing technique. So we
Mm-hmm.
become very much more aware of our breathing and things like that. So what happens is we can redirect our brain or our focus to focus on just one thing, and it's actually not easy, right? Because we are just so distracted. Our attention span is just so short, but when we are able to have an ability to stay focused, I think that really helps a lot because there are some times when you are not meditating and you need to focus. These kind of practices can help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, now let's go back to the monk.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
like, tell me more about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened? Why did you decide to become a monk for 8 weeks? Like, yeah, what's the backstory behind it first?
Okay, yeah. So my family, we are staunch Buddhists. We've been in Buddhism for all of my life. In
Yeah,
fact, my family actually has a temple. We
cool.
actually have have a temple, yeah, in another state in Johor, yeah. And my mom, I don't know how. So somehow my mom just said that, hey, since you have 2 months, 3 months of a break, why don't you just go for a camp? She just said go for a camp. She didn't even. So she was thinking like, this guy 15 years old, instead of just staying at home, just go for like a life camp or something like that. So she was expecting something more outdoorsy, right? And then somehow I was at the temple and I was asking my friends, is there any kind of like a year end camp to go? And then one of the receptionists was like, dude, you want to try to be a novice monk? And I don't know why I was like, okay, I think I
Okay.
should, because I was waiting for our results, right? Because we had a very big major exam and I wanted to pray for extra luck. So then I was like, okay, let's go be a monk then. Then yeah, I think it was 8 weeks. Shave my head, wore robes, eat vegetarian. We can only eat at 6 a.m. and 11 a.m. Yeah.
And that's it?
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah. So we
Oh,
get only
wow.
two meals a day, vegetarian. We eat 6 a.m. And 11 a.m. And that's it. Yeah.
How was life as a monk?
Oh, very simple life. It's so simple. You wake up, all right, and then of course we do the like chanting and meditation when we
Yeah.
wake up, just to make sure that we can compose our thoughts. And then it's a
Mm.
very disciplined life, because it is like you get up, you meditate, and then after that you know that, okay, today I'll have to clean the temple for 2 hours. After that, during the cleaning, I will only clean like the kitchen area, for example. Then after that, it's lunch break. So after lunch break, then we will have 1 hour of free time. The kind of free time they usually encourage you to pick up on something that you are lacking in. So, for example, you feel like you lack discipline in certain things, or you want to learn more about Buddhism, for example, then you will dedicate that time there. Yeah. So then after that, then you can spend time with the seniors, and just discuss any kind of things that you want to know lah. Yeah. But it's a very disciplined and very scheduled life.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. What type of things do monks discuss with the seniors?
So because our batch that we went in, we are all high school kids.
Yeah.
So a lot of us are always about more the kind of questions on, what the kind of mindset I should be having when I go into the working world, or what are things I should look out for when, issues with my family, for example. So sometimes you just want to talk to like a senior on these kind of things, right? Yeah.
And do they give you like generic advice slash wisdom, or do they focus on the teachings of Buddha?
So teachings of Buddha is at 7 p.m. every day.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so that we usually, if it is like a one-on-one session, then it won't be about the teachings of Buddha. So it will be just general wisdom, as you say.
Mm. Oh, that is so interesting. Like it's always been in my mind. I wanted before the pandemic happened, I wanted to go to a Vipassana retreat, like 10 days of
Oh,
silence. But
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
basically you go to the monastery, you don't shave
Yes,
your head, but it's like you go to the monastery and then you exactly wake up at 4 in the morning, do the
yep,
chores, eat
yep,
very simple food like twice a day, and you're in silence, like total silence for 10 days. And I've
yes,
heard it's transformative.
yep. My mom and my sister goes annually for these vipassana retreats. Yeah,
Oh,
of
wow.
course, pre-pandemic lah.
Yes, of course. It's like, yes, at some point, it's like at some point we need to go back to that life.
Yeah. If there is like we have this place Genting Highlands, right? So if you ever get a chance to do like a retreat there, it's amazing because it's so cold. and it's so quiet.
You're like, it's cold. And I'm like, oh, I love the hot weather here.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yes, I
okay.
love the hot weather.
Okay, then, yeah.
No, oh, no, but I hadn't considered that one. I found one in Thailand. I
Okay.
found another center in Malaysia, but it was not in Highlands. It was somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Oh, that is so interesting. And then coming back to, you have such an interesting story.
I'm sorry, it's just all over the place now.
Yes, it's all over the place, but I'm loving it. So at 15, you were a monk for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Then you went to high school, and then you finished high school, then you entered uni. And then by now, under 30, you are like Forbes. Forbes under 30, and you have your agency, and it was acquired, and you are like the most down to earth guy ever. Uh, so I guess the question for you is, when you were 15, how did that 8 week experience change your life such that you became the man that you are today?
I remember one of the things my master told me that really stick with me for a very long time. He mentioned that bef- sounds a bit funny to say this, but before you have this, you so for example, it's about dealing with loss. So
Mm.
he says like there was a story of how somebody lost a lot of money and he's very unhappy. But he says that, before he got this amount of fortune, he was happy. So just because he lost the fortune doesn't mean that he should be sad, right? So it has sort of made me go into starting my business very fearlessly because
Mm.
I can just lose my business today, but it's fine because before I started the business, I was doing fine and I will be
You were
able to do.
happy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool. Oh,
So
that's such a
so
beautiful teaching and explanation. You don't go into the attachment and non-attachment and like it's just and like yeah, it's as simple as before
yeah,
you had that, you were happy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
As simple as that.
Yeah, it's just something really simple, and that's how I started my agency when I was 24, and I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna just jump into it, right? Yeah.
So how do you apply that? How have you applied that in the past year that we've been in the pandemic and then lockdown in and out and now we're back in again? How do you use that loss of freedom?
So the very obvious kind of loss that we deal with is definitely loss in sales of
Mm,
certain clients and industries, right? Because like the movie industry or entertainment industry, gone overnight, gone, right? And then a lot of the alcohol brands that has a lot of events and roadshows, they were also gone.
yeah.
So right when they announced that, we had a lot of, even like the Raya season right now, we are still at the moment dealing with a lot of loss because of the sudden announcement of MCO.
Yeah.
So suddenly a lot of hotels can't do their Raya buffet spread and things like that. So we are experiencing a lot of defeat these days because clients just like, okay, I'm so sorry, I can't do it because of MCO. We understand, they understand. And yeah, but we just have to find small wins every day at different places. Yeah.
I love it.
So
Yeah.
that's just how it is, lah. Yeah.
Find small wins every day in different places. And that goes so well with the title of the podcast that it's like, well, the podcast is Celebrate You, but the essence is about celebration.
Yeah.
That it's exactly that. Looking
I
at the positives and the small wins as little as they can seem. They are big things.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, random topic, but I really like your podcast photo.
Oh, thank you.
It really shouts celebrate you, right? It's so colorful, so vibrant, yeah, it's loud. Yeah.
Thank you. Like I took that picture last time I went home. So it was like a little bit of me being happy at home, and it was New
Mm-hmm.
Year's, and it was like, yay! Yeah, I
Wow.
think that's why the picture is so powerful. It was not
Yeah.
a photo shoot. It was like I'm at home and I'm happy. At home as in Mexico. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's so interesting. Okie dokie. So I am thinking we are getting close towards the end of the episode. So I'm like, given your story, monk, agency, helping businesses, um, getting acquired, Forbes 30. I think, yeah, now I know. I'm like, so what's the next question? Yeah, the next question is like, what's next for one?
uh, good question. We are still really swimming through the pandemic at the moment.
Mm,
We are actually very thankful. The other day, just earlier today, when one of the influencers actually sent us a gift box because she did a few campaigns with us during the Ramadan month about home
yeah.
cooking, and that really helped her a lot because like husband was like loss of income, and
Mm,
then she was very thankful for being able to sustain herself and her family.
yeah.
So I've always been our whole team, we were always very touched by these kind of stories, and we really like that a lot, and it really boils back down to whatever it is that we do, it's definitely going to be about giving opportunities for creative people to succeed, and
Awesome.
I'm really not sure what is the next step, but it's definitely still going to be back to our core. We might build a new product, right? But it will still be in the core in giving back to creative people.
Yeah. Do you ever think about the future? As in, you seem like a very grounded person, especially it's like with all the practices that you have, like meditation and like history of being a monk, feng shui and all that. But do you even within that context, do you think about, I don't know, how's your life in 20 years time? Not in two, but like in 20. Do you ever think about that?
Uh, Sometimes, and it's a very strange thing, but I would, yeah, I mean, you are also a big traveling fan, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I actually like to visit temples, if that makes sense.
Awesome.
Yeah, so everywhere that I've been traveling, I would try to visit a temple there, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's this something like, yeah, traveling
Oh,
definitely, but visiting temples, I think. Yeah.
traveling, visiting temples. Oh,
Yeah.
that I'm like, I can see like an Instagram. Like, so interesting, like you all over the world visiting temples because like temple, well, it depends on what's your definition of temple, but if I broaden up the temple category, you have like Chinese temples, the Buddhist
Yeah.
temples, you have the, I don't know, the Japanese temples, you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
the, if we really broaden up the definition of temple, that it's like a place of prayer,
Yeah.
then we have like the Egyptian pyramids, like all
Uh-huh.
the churches in Europe. Then in
Yeah.
Latin America, all the, I don't know, like the Mayans and the Aztecs, like all of those temples. It's like, oh, that is cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't mind.
You're like, I don't mind. I'll just travel and see temples.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That is super cool. It's been an absolute pleasure having you in the show. Before we go, I want to ask you two questions.
Yeah.
One, what's your, most of our listeners, they are millennials, mix of men and women, mainly women, but it's like a mix of women, men and women. Um, what's your advice for them now that we are in such weird times?
Yeah. Same philosophy as what I tell my team. It's just we have to find small wins somewhere, anywhere, right?
Mm,
And back to the title of the podcast, celebrate you, right? Because I mean, Bonnie, I think you came up with this also. It's because you also enjoy being present, in the
yeah,
moment. You also want to celebrate people.
Yes.
And I am also aligned with that belief that we, because the pandemic time is just so tough, right? And you just have to find small wins somewhere. Yeah.
Yes. So it's find the small wins every day. That's very beautiful advice that it's so much easier to follow than being present. Because sometimes it's like, yeah, you just have to be present and you're like, yes, I know. What does that mean? But it's like celebrating wins every day. That's beautiful. So what are you celebrating today?
Today definitely is easy because we just got like an appreciation gift,
Oh,
right?
amazing.
From yeah. So because we just came back from office, and that's something that's really good lah. That we actually help somebody or a family. Yeah.
Good, good.
Yeah.
That's important to see the direct impact of your business into real
Yeah.
people's lives.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, one, it's been a pleasure having you in the show.
Yay!
It's like, yay, win, win, win of the show, having won. Everyone, ladies, gentlemen, because now I know that we have, coming back to marketing and metrics, now I know that 40% of the audience is male, not just ladies. I
Oh,
know, I know. So
okay,
now I'll be
okay,
like,
okay.
ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
So have a beautiful week, sending you a lot of love all the way from Malaysia, crossing all of Asia, all the way to Europe, crossing the ocean to America, all the way down to Mexico, all of Latin America, and then crossing the ocean again, all the way to Africa and covering the whole world in love. Have an amazing week, and I'll speak with you next week. Ciao.
Bye.
Thank you, Juan. Bye.
Thank you.